Did you know this plug tester can save you a lot of headaches, frustrations, and prevent serious damage inside of your RV? In this video, I'm going to show you how to use this to test electrical outlets and what the readings on the screen mean. So as an RV owner, let me tell you why you'd want one of these. If you are buying a new RV, you can check to make sure the outlets are working properly, or you just bought it and you don't know if something is working, you can use this to verify there's power at the outlet. If you have an issue in the RV and you've made a repair, you can double check your work afterwards by verifying the outlet is wired properly. And a lot of times in RVs, you have voltage issues, and you can see the voltage reading on the screen to verify you're within the right range. We have a few situations. I'll show you how this works, and I'll explain what the readings on the screen mean during that process. So let's go check it out. Welcome to the bathroom. So let's get this thing started. We have to push and hold the power button to turn it on. The only other button on here is a test button. Other than that, you plug it in, it'll tell you the readings. So we pop it into the outlet. We have 123 volts. The wiring is correct. The light is green. This outlet is good to go. You do want to check both plugs in the outlets because sometimes one will work and the other one will not. And 123 volts, that is good voltage to the RV. Where you move around in RV parks, you might see some that are 110 or lower or 130. You want to be typically 110, 120 range. That is pretty normal. A little bit above that, a little bit below that is okay. You start getting too low or too high, you have multiple issues of things operating inside of the RV. So now, this is a GFCI tester, so let's push the test button, and you should hear a click. There we go, it tripped right away. It's flashing. It shows now we have no power to it, and it tripped that GFCI in 0.01 of a second. That is perfect. Now, because there's no power to this outlet, you can see we have a red light. It shows 30 volts AC, and it's telling us we have open ground and neutral on the screen. So there's an issue inside this plug. So now let's reset this. We'll plug back in. Now we're back to green. Now let's go to another outlet. All right, let's unplug the cat toy first. Now we'll test this outlet. We're showing 123, 124 volts. And let's test to see if this is a GFCI. Push the button. Right now it's trying to trip a GFCI. The lines are going across. And it's flashing at us. It did not trip a GFCI. It's showing it tried for 6 seconds to do that, and it failed. If I pull this back out, push it back in, you can see we still have 123 volts at it. So this outlet is actually not a GFCI. That's why it did not trip. But if you were on a GFCI circuit and you tried that and it did not trip, you would have an issue with the GFCI. You'd want to go back and fix that. Now let's check another outlet. We have an outlet in the ceiling. Let's test it. Uh-oh, we have a red light. It does show we have 123 volts, but it is showing we have an open ground and a red light. So there is an issue inside of this plug or possibly the wiring coming to this plug. So this needs further diagnosis to figure out where the loose connection is. Now let's say the situation was this outlet was buried inside of a cabinet and I couldn't physically see the screen when I plug it in. It'll hold the memory on here of what the reading was, so when you pull it out, you can see what the issue was or if it was good. So let's pop it out. You can see the little top piece up here has H for hold, and it shows us we had 124 volts, red lights flashing, and open ground. And now with this one having an issue, we do not want to use this outlet, and I would also go around the RV and check to make sure other outlets aren't having the same issue. Then I can figure out if it's just this outlet itself, if it's a whole circuit, because plugging things into an outlet that is not wired properly is very dangerous. You can fry your electronics, you can melt wires inside of that outlet or inside the wall. I would recommend, if you're not going to be repairing this, to go to that circuit breaker, turn off the circuit, so this outlet would be dead until you can get it repaired. Okay, let me answer some frequently asked questions where I have some headroom. As you know, RVs are hard to film in, and tall guys in small spaces looks kind of awkward. Hit in my head. All right, question is, do I need a multimeter if I have one of these plug testers? The answer is yes, if you're going to do further work beyond checking the outlet itself. So if you came across there was an issue with wiring or voltages and you needed to make a repair on it, you would need a multimeter at that case. If you're just keeping this as an RV owner to check voltages and see if everything is working properly, and you're not making any repairs, you would not need a multimeter. Now, if you need help on using a multimeter, I made a full video on using one of those, and it goes right down to the basics and it breaks it down to make it really simple. So you want to check that out. And now the next frequently asked question, what's the difference between a plug tester with a screen and one of these guys without a screen? Really, the difference is the display on this screen shows the voltages, because RVs move around different parks all the time. They can come across situations of high voltage and low voltage. And what I see quite often with RVs, when you have a reading that shows 30 volts on the screen, that typically points to miswired plugs. It could be the plug itself, but most commonly with 30 amp RVs, it's the outlet they're wired into. And this will be pretty common at people's houses. The outlet they plug into around a garage, they'll have the neutral and the hot wires switched in the plug, and that can create a hot skin condition, which is very dangerous. So if you start seeing things like that, you'll want to check to make sure that you're plugged into a safe outlet, and if you're not, get it repaired before using that RV on that outlet. And this rolls into the last frequently asked question. If I get a red light on this tester, what is wrong with the outlet? Well, there could be a variety of issues. It'll tell you some things on the screen, tell you some voltages, but this is where the skilled part comes in. If you're not well versed in electricity, it can be very dangerous digging into outlets and trying to fix things. I recommend calling a professional if you're not familiar with repairing outlets and wiring inside of the RV. Now you can see why having a simple tool just like this can save you a lot of time diagnosing and prevent future issues inside of your RV. And if you're looking for more maintenance and repair tips just like these ones, you want to check out the RV education page on our website for more information and helpful tips.